First piece of equipment we're going to talk about is the suspension trainer. This is about, I think, $65 on Amazon. I'll put the link down in the description. The OG model, which is the TRX brand, is $200 roughly. And for some of the more technical ones, they get to upwards of $300. You don't need to spend all that money unless you're like a name brand person. But this is just as good, if not better in a lot of ways. You can travel with it and take it pretty much anywhere you go. And you can do a lot with it. If you add lower body calisthenics to the upper body movements you can do with this, and you can do some lower body movements with this and core training with this, you can get multiple different variations of different workouts that hit everything any way that you could possibly ever want. That is why I recommend this as the first piece of equipment you get. The other thing you might want to invest in with this, whether you can do them or not, is a super sturdy doorway pull-up bar that you can set up in a doorway and do pull-ups on. You can anchor this to it very easily, and when you don't have door hinges or whatever else that you can attach it to. So, plus eventually, inevitably, no matter how much you hate pull-ups or running, you should get good at them, right? And there's ways around that, and we'll get to that later. So the genius concept of this is that you create your own suffering, meaning that if I'm not so strong in the beginning, my feet may be a little bit more forward for, say, this chest fly. And that's all I can handle right now. And then as I get stronger and more advanced, I can just back my feet up and create more resistance. Or on days like today, when I've got a little inflammation in my shoulders, and I realize like, I can still get a solid pump right there and not feel that shoulder impingement. That's my comfort zone. So that's the general concept behind it. And you can build solid muscle with this. And then there's just a myriad of different exercises that you can do. That first example, for instance, you have the chest fly. Keeping those hands below the shoulders. I shouldn't feel pain in the shoulder. I should feel it when I squeeze and hold that peak contraction for that few seconds. I should feel my pectoral muscles activate. Shouldn't be feeling it in my shoulders. I should have my chest engaged the whole way through what is called the concentric motion, where I'm going forward and pumping the muscle, and then the controlled eccentric motion coming out of it and stopping where I start to feel it in my shoulders and not my pecs. Right before that point, identify that point and keep it in the muscle that I'm working. All right, so I can do chest flies, I can do push-ups, I can do pronated, supinated, neutral grip. So I can have palms down, palms up, or palms in towards each other. 3 different groups that work muscles from different angles. Albeit a fly, you're always going to be in neutral with palms facing in towards one another. But then you have supinated and pronated for other types of exercises. So mostly pulling motions. So I have push-ups wide, tricep push-ups with a neutral grip. You can do flies, neutral grip for the back, pulling into those lat muscles, engaging the scapula. I'm going to use technical terms, but this is not going to be a class on fitness. Basically, anything you hear me say that you're curious about, find 4 or 5 YouTube videos that are all saying the same thing on guys who obviously know what they're talking about fitness-wise. And learn how to start educating yourself on this stuff. Right now, I'm just going over the tools, right? So I have back flies. Then you have a pulling motion with the pronated grip. Again, tucking those elbows in and engaging those lat muscles. Not up near my shoulders, but down where I want to engage my back Grip's a little bit lower than shoulder level, targeting those lat muscles. And then I can do the same thing with supinated, right? Some of the other exercises you can do, side to side to hit obliques. Tuck that elbow up against those lats. Feel it in the lat muscle, not the shoulders. You might feel a little bit in the shoulders. Just about everything you do hits the shoulders because you have to use the shoulder to get to the muscle. But you want to try and feel it more in that muscle you're trying to work and less in your shoulders. That's how you avoid shoulder inflammation and injury. Bicep curls. Pinky below the thumb. As I come up, rotate that pinky up and outside the bicep. Target it from the side. Tricep exercises. Again, I usually go thumbless on these. Thumbless grip instead of thumb around. Keep those elbows tucked in. Should not feel it in the elbow. You want to feel it in the tricep. When you come up to the top, engage those tricep muscles. Don't necessarily lock out the arm, but squeeze those triceps at the top. Release and slow lower. Don't just drop out because that's how you start to hurt joints. Anytime you drop out of something, you don't control the motion all the way in and out of it. You have different types of leg exercises. For instance, if you're trying to work on those pistol squats, keeping that knee behind that front toe, keeping the back straight, which we'll also do a class on the deadlift and thoracic extension. Core type exercises. Shoulders. Shoulders from different angles. And then this is not going to be, these are also adjustable for different lengths. So you can do different types of whatever your imagination can kind of come up with, as long as it's safe and makes sense. This is a good opportunity, this would be a good time to use the pull-up bar instead of something like this, but I'm just trying to quick show you some of the capabilities. But even this kind of works, but you'd kind of want it suspended so that this tree's not in the way of your feet. You can do your mountain climbers. Suspended. Push-ups to pike. Leg tucks, oblique leg tucks, regular leg tucks. It's a multi-tool.